want to share with y'all how we make Southern sweet tea. Uh, I never would have thought that Southerners couldn't make sweet tea, but here lately I've ran into several people that are having trouble making good sweet tea, and they end up buying their tea from the local stores, and you can make a gallon of tea for about 50 cents, and it's a lot cheaper than buying it by a gallon out of the store. And also, they sweeten tea in the stores and at these fast food restaurants with high fructose corn syrup. So you don't want to drink that all the time. So I want to show you guys how to make good Southern sweet tea today, and how easy it is to make. And maybe you guys can start keeping a gallon or a half a gallon or whatever you like in your fridge to drink. Maybe it'll keep you from drinking so many sodas, and just drink a little sweet tea. So we're going to get started, and the first thing we're going to do is this is a recipe for a gallon of sweet tea. So this is our plastic gallon jug, so that's what we're going to make it in today. And we're going to start off with 2 cups of sugar in our pot, and then what we're going to do, we'll add water to this pot to about half full. We will not put our tea bags in here yet. What we want to do, we want to bring this pot, this water and this sugar, up to a heat, but not boiling, just hot enough for this sugar to melt. And so once it melts, you'll be able to see it. You won't see any granulated sugar left. And you really don't want to bring it to a boil because it can caramelize the sugar. So just bring it to a good hot, bring the water up really good and hot, and stir it. And when the sugar dissolves, then it's ready. Okay. So what we'll do next, after our sugar is dissolved in our water, the next important thing you want to do, the first important thing you don't want to do is bring it to a boil. The next important thing you want to do is let your tea steep for a little while. Steep means you just want to put your tea bags in the water and let them sit for a little while in warm water, and let the flavors of the tea leaves sort of incorporate into the water. Okay, so today we're adding 3 tea bags to our water. So we've already melted our sugar in our water. We've taken it off the stove, okay? And while the water's still hot, we'll lay our tea bags in the hot water, and we'll just set this to the side somewhere and let it sit for a couple of hours. You can let it sit overnight if you like. And one other important thing you don't want to do with tea is you don't want to, while it's steeping, you do not want to put a lid on it like that, because what happens is it starts sweating under there and it can cause your tea to sour. So you don't want to do that. You want to let it breathe and steep. You can lay a dishcloth over it, or get you one of these cotton towels while it's steeping, and just lay over it like that. And you can let it sit there as long as you want, really. The longer it sits there, the stronger it's going to get. And it'll be up to you on how strong or how light you like your tea. But I would say a minimum of a couple of hours to make a good tea, to let your tea sit there and just steep for a while. One other thing you don't want to do is, you can see that I'm using a plastic jug, and I don't like plastics, especially to drink out of, but it's really hard to find a gallon jug that's made out of glass, because it makes them extremely heavy, because that would be a very large glass jug to make tea in. And plus it's got a nice handle on it as well. So one thing you don't want to do is, while this is hot, you don't want to pour this into this plastic jug, okay? So after your tea steeps for a while, if you let it steep long enough to cool down, then it should be okay to pour into your gallon jug. If you haven't let it steep long enough, you notice that I only filled my pan up halfway with water, and when I'm letting my tea steep, what I can do is fill the rest of the pan up with cold water after the tea is steeped, fill the rest of it with cold water, stir it real good, and then pour it into my plastic jug. You don't want to just take boiling water or hot water and pour it into this plastic jug. It's going to give you a really bitter flavor in your tea, okay? That's another thing, a mistake a lot of people make is pouring their hot tea into a plastic jug, because it just releases chemicals from this plastic, and it gets into your tea, and it gives it off flavors, flavors you don't want really. Another thing is, if you're using tea bags, you can see I'm using tea bags just in the little pouch here. But if you're using tea bags that have the little string on them with the tag, make sure you do not put that tag in your water while your tea is steeping, okay? Make sure that you wrap that tag around the outside of your tea, or let it hang over the side while it's steeping, or just tear it off, That would definitely give your tea a bitter flavor. So basically what you've done, you've made a sugar syrup first with sugar and water. You've let that sugar dissolve into that water. You have a sugar syrup. And then you've put your tea bags in here, and you let those tea bags steep for a couple of hours in that sugar syrup. Okay? And once that has happened, once you're finished steeping your tea, you can take your tea bags out, open your jug. You can use a funnel or whatever. Take your tea bags out of your water, then pour your steeped tea into your jug, and then finish filling your jug up with water. And then you'll have really good sweet tea, and you can keep it in the fridge to stay cold so it doesn't sour. And another thing I do when my tea's in the fridge, I don't clamp this down. I leave it kind of cracked. I leave my lids kind of cracked when I make tea. You want your tea to breathe. You don't want your tea to sour. Tea is easily to sour if you close it up in a real tight container. So just let it breathe a little. Just leave it cracked somewhat, and when it's in the fridge, staying cold and waiting on you to drink it. Okay, and that's one way to make tea. Now, there's also another way that I like to make tea, and just remember, anything you add to tea, tea is going to absorb that flavor. You put tea in hot plastic, or if I'm boiling tea in these little pouches it comes in. So sometimes if I have time, I like to take these pouches, and I have a little filter here that I bought from Amazon. It's really a good filter. It's an infusion filter. And what I'll do is I'll cut this pouch. All right, let's cut that pouch, Savannah, and show them what we do. Let's cut the top off of that pouch, and we're going to pour these tea leaves into this filter. Okay, and just pour that right in there. And this is a different way of making it. Like I said, anything that you use, anything you put in this tea is going to add. That tea is going to absorb that flavor, whether it be bad or whether it be good. So these bags also can add a little bitterness to your tea. So if you really want a pure tea flavor, I'll pour my tea leaves into this filter, and when I get ready for the infusion process, I'll just set this down in the water like that, and then the tea. And every once in a while, I go by and stir it, just to make sure that things are steeping as they should, and that keeps any chemicals that this bag is made from getting into your tea. And like I said, you can order these from Amazon. You can do a lot of things with these filters. You can even make cold coffee. You can use them for infusion. Like if you wanted to put mint in your tea or something like that, they fit into these half-gallon jugs just like that. So you could fill this jug up with sweet tea, drop a little mint in here, and let this steep. And you could have mint flavored tea. If you didn't want to make the whole gallon of mint flavored tea, you could just make a small jug of that for yourself. I do love glass. I love drinking sweet tea out of glass. It's not always convenient to do that, but anytime that I can, I do that, and I love to make it with this. I done poured tea grounds all over Savannah. But anyway, I love to use these little infusers to make cold coffee, or just to make my regular coffee, or to actually make sweet tea. And like I said, you can also use them to infuse different flavors into the tea that you've already made. Okay. Okay. So what are some things we don't want to do? Some things we don't want to do when making sweet tea is we never want to bring our water to a full boil. Okay, we always want to let our tea steep for a little while. We want to make a sugar syrup and then let our tea steep inside that sugar syrup. Okay, you never want to pour hot tea into a plastic jug, okay, because that can create bad flavors for your tea as well. And anytime you have an opportunity to use glass, but just keep in mind a lot of these glass tea pitchers are not made for hot liquids neither. So if you pour a really hot liquid into one of these tea pitchers, it could possibly crack. So make sure your tea is cooled down when you bring it off the stove and you're letting it steep for a while. Make it cool down to a point that it's okay to pour into a glass pitcher so you don't break your glass pitcher. And one of our teas that we like to use, I forgot to mention this, and no, I'm not getting paid to say this, but we love our Red Diamond tea. Red Diamond is a local coffee and tea distributor in Alabama, and we just love Red Diamond tea. And but you can use whatever tea, Louisiana tea, Lipton tea. There's all kinds of teas out there to use in 100,000 different ways to infuse teas as well. So this is just I just want to just cover with you guys the basics of how to make tea, the base for a base tea, and then you could infuse that tea in any way you see fit. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. And if you wanted to make one thing I was going to talk to you about, if you wanted to make a hot tea just to drink, you could use this as well. You could cut your bag, cut one of these bags. You can buy these little tea balls. I don't have a tea ball, but you can buy tea balls and do this as well. They call them tea balls, where you put loose tea leaves in the ball and then you put it in hot water and let it infuse. But you can use this as well. You can set this down in a cup and put your tea grounds in here and let that infuse into a hot cup of water for just for a hot tea, just for a cup of hot tea. And so anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the tea video, and maybe you guys will be able to start drinking good tea, making quality tea, and not having to rush to the store to buy tea. And so we'll talk to you guys later.